2016, we took 5 feet of water. Everybody took water, you know. But you see everything in your house being thrown in a ditch, and you lose everything. Yes, it's stuff, but there are a lot of things associated with stuff. And so we not only had that, but then your mom got sick, and she died. That was a month later. And then in December, you had problems with your eyes.
Yes. That was really a somewhat painful time in our life because, I mean, when your house floods and you lose everything, it's almost feel like you've been violated, you know? We were active with the Lord in church and everything, and it was amazing, even though this happened and it was horrible, the Lord, I could see the Lord's hand every day in getting us out of it. And it was just amazing to watch, like, wow. At that time, finding contractors to help you rebuild your house, it was almost impossible because there was so much damage. And we had a contractor that called us and said, hey, you want your house cleaned out? I said, well, yeah. And within 2 days, he had 30 people there stripping the house, taking down sheetrock, dumping everything in the ditches outside. And we had the whole house done in a couple of weeks. And I'm going, wow.
As I look back now, I can see where God was all the way. I could see the positive things as well as the negative things, and the positive things are what kept us going, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think our next big challenge was about 2 years later when I was babysitting my grandson, and I've never felt this in my entire life, the urgency that I felt when I looked at him and I saw a knot. I could not let go of the feeling that he had to be seen by a doctor. The first 2 doctors said they were too busy. The third doctor took him, and he was diagnosed with leukemia that night. There was a sense of peace that he was going to be okay.
Yeah.
It was, people talk about, well, God told me this. I really think God was making me want to get him well, and the peace was that it was going to be okay. Even through Memphis, there's this peace. That it's going to be okay. He's going to take care of it.
And I felt the same way. I mean, it was from the very beginning, I just knew he was going to be fine. It was kind of strange, but comforting at the same time. And
So we were battling not only the leukemia, but we were battling COVID and trying to keep him very safe from getting that. And so he stayed with me most of the time, which I was blessed. Days were not good with a 3-year-old.
on steroids.
He doesn't feel well. Yeah, there were many days I just sat and prayed, just prayed over him, because I didn't know what else to do. He gets there. He has the top #1 doctor in the world for leukemia. He made it through within 6 weeks, which is really unusual. Really, in 4 weeks, he was cancer-free, but on his chemo, which was extremely unusual. And 6 weeks later, we were able to come home. He started to get better. Then we talked about trying to get him in get some education into him. Of course, I couldn't go to preschool because of COVID. Well, I was a teacher. But there again, God put me in the spot I was supposed to be in. So we turned our game room into a kindergarten room with things all over the walls and little things for him. And there again, I was so blessed to be able to do that for him. I couldn't fix the cancer. I had to just say, God, this is yours. You got to handle it. And tell me what to do. I don't think we ever ask why once. Just, God, what am I supposed to do? And that was every morning. You know, how do I help this child? Things happen and we put it in God's hands and then we pick it up and we try to fix it ourselves. And then you lay back down, then pick it back up again. And you're just delaying what God has. I developed so much faith and trust in him and that he was going to do everything.
All through the Bible, the Lord talks about, I will never give you more than you can't handle, and I'll be there with you all during that time. And that's true.
Don't give up. Put it at his feet and sit and wait. And be very calm and very patient, because it will come, not in your time, but in his time.